Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now September 8th of 2023, and given that Bob Iger and the Disney board are really trying their absolute best to course correct Disney, everything on all fronts, whether it be Disney Plus, theatrical releases such as the main movies from Marvel, Star Wars, and just Disney in general, getting the stocks back up, getting merchandise sales back up, and let's not forget about upping the attendees at all of the Disney park destinations around the world. This is all a big concern for Disney that they are trying to reverse. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. And let's get right into the subject. Now, speaking about Lucasfilm, we know that Kathleen Kennedy has been wreaking havoc behind the scenes with two major shows that are 100% in her control. That is The Acolyte and Skeleton Crew, both of which are two Star Wars TV shows that will be debuting next year throughout 2024, given that Disney removed Skeleton Crew from the 2023 release schedule, which is a big telltale sign that that is now being shifted until next year. But there's a lot more to Kathleen Kennedy than what's been going on right now. There's a lot of things happening between herself and Lucasfilm employees and specific team members and crew members, etc., etc. Let's get into the actual details here. Now, there's been a lot of things happening over at Lucasfilm, so to speak, not just because of Bob Iger's cost containment plan, but also about the firings that have been moving forward because of Kathleen Kennedy and how Disney has been giving it the green light. Now, with Disney and Lucasfilm attempting to course correct Star Wars, Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy recently did something that will most certainly drive away more fans of the brand. Now, one major development has to do with the fact that recently Kennedy finalized her plans to firing an entire team and crew of Lucasfilm employees that were discovered to be both loyalists to George Lucas and Jon Favreau. Now, these loyalists were said to be a big part of the Mandalorian Season 4 team, as well as for the Acolyte series. With Acolyte going under serious adjustments right now behind the scenes, Kennedy made a last-minute call and decision to drop the entire team that essentially were fired by Kathy that consisted of a large chunk of the last remaining loyals to George Lucas that were employed over at Lucasfilm, where now only little remain. The entire reason the situation came to this actual moment has to do with the rising creative differences between co-writers, directors, artists, editors, and more that had growing issues with Kathleen Kennedy and her direction with The Acolyte and how it shames Lucas's Star Wars philosophy by showrunner Leslie Headland. Now guys, let me just pause here before I get to the next big bit about this development, is that, for those of you that do not know, The Acolyte show is going to be a Star Wars show that's going to essentially dismantle, it's going to get rid of George Lucas's Star Wars. Everything that you know and love about the Lucas philosophy, it will be no more with the Acolyte series. And this is all backed up by Kathleen Kennedy, it's all backed by Leslie Headland, the showrunner of the series, the writer, and basically what they are attempting to do is that they want to essentially ruin the prequel trilogy lore and kind of focus more so on the High Republic and how it alters the storyline of the prequel trilogy movies. Now, some of you may be a little confused on that, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. What's interesting about this, though, is the fact that Disney gave Kathleen Kennedy the green light to firing this said team that were loyalists, that were very much loyal to George Lucas, that were very much, you know, those employed at Lucasfilm for a very long while, that got purged by Kathleen Kennedy, got removed by her from The Acolyte and from Mando Season 4. Now, about Mando Season 4, this is a very big, serious discussion happening over at Disney and Lucasfilm right now. They have no idea what to do with that. They have had conversations on making it into a movie for either Disney Plus or in theaters. They're not quite sure what they want to do with it yet. But their full intention right now is to make Mando Season 4 the final season, or the finale, if you will, to close up this series. As of now, there are no plans any longer for a season 5 or a season 6, etc., etc. They want to focus on 4 being the finale of the show and making another show the new flagship for Star Wars. So, again, this is all a part of how Disney is trying desperately to course correct the franchise. And as long as you got Kathleen Kennedy there, running the show, calling these shots and decisions, it's just not going to happen. Let's be honest. So, moving onwards. Now, additionally, these Lucasfilm employees that were fired were trying to protect the Star Wars philosophy that was being dismantled in the Acolyte series, which is planned to retcon the prequel trilogy movies quite drastically and alter the concept of what Star Wars is and what it stands for. Now, Kennedy made this call just recently as she finalized her plans to make the crews and teams of the Acolyte and Mandalorian Season 4 smaller, though Kennedy still so far has no creative power, essentially, over Mando Season 4, she does still have the power on the business end. Though Kennedy still so far has, of course, made herself put into a more complex situation, some changes are being passed down by Disney in the coming days that may spell doom for Lucasfilm. Kennedy is also planning to purge yet another team at Lucasfilm that was given the green light by Disney higher-ups. So again, the board, they are clueless, they don't know what they're doing. This is exactly why I keep saying that I feel Disney is irredeemable. And they may try to make it sound like that they can redeem themselves with doing the right thing at times here and there sporadically to kind of just dangle the carrot to their audience. I don't think that they're going to do well in the long term. I really don't believe. With the way things are going right now with Star Wars and Marvel, it's a downward trend, and they just keep digging themselves a bigger hole. With what we saw with all the box office failures as well, that's also something that I think Disney's not going to be able to escape from, especially with Snow White 2024 and the Marvels. That's going to be 2 big failures for both 2023 and 2024. What worse way to end this year and to begin next? It's not a good situation for Disney, to say the least. Not with Marvel, not with Star Wars, and the fact that Kathleen Kennedy was given the okay to fire this team, to fire this, crew that were very much loyal to George Lucas, very much loyal to Jon Favreau. I think it really does fit with the rumblings that were happening months ago that Dave Filoni got a specific deal through Kathleen Kennedy for his Star Wars movie, by allowing her ideas to spill into the show a little bit here and there. This is why Ahsoka is a mixed bag. So, like I say, I would really love to hear what everyone has to say about Kathleen Kennedy's decision over at Lucasfilm below in the comments. What do you think about the whole entire scenario? And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.